Good morning. Happy last day of March. It is March 31st. In this video, I'm just going to quickly go over our steps for the day and then explain two assignments that I've given you. Okay. So again, our focus for today is descriptive writing and sensory details. These two elements right here are really important in order to bring your personal narrative to life. So hopefully you are completing attendance by 3 p.m. Hopefully you've entered some sort of journal entry into your Corona Chronicle. Um, Number three, make sure you have submitted your homework from last week. That includes picking your topic, what you're going to write about for this personal narrative. Additionally, filling out that storytelling arc with the outline, the steps of your personal narrative, and how you're going to bring that to life. So the last two things we have here today together, really the bulk of our class today, um, answering a sensory questionnaire. Okay, so we have the sensory questionnaire and then we have the show, don't tell worksheet. Um, these are really the only two things I'm going to go over. So I'm going to go over these in a moment, but what I want to say is before I go into these, we're going to meet as a class on Thursday. So we'll meet as a class at 1 p.m. on Thursday, just as we did the other time. I can't wait to see you guys. So more details to come on that, but just kind of put that on your radar. All right, so back to this. So you could go ahead and go to Google Classroom, go to the personal narrative topic here on Google Classroom, and then once you get there, click on Tuesday's class 331. Okay, so today's homework, two different bits here, and I tried to include instructions for both. The first thing, sensory questionnaire. So when we talk about sensory details in writing, we mean it. Like we're quite literally trying to appeal to one another's senses, all five of them. Touch, taste, sense, smell, sight. All of those things are included in that. So I'm gonna read through the directions and I'll kind of talk through it after that. So, personal narrative essay, it shares your own memory of an incident or an experience. The best memories, though, like the best memories, the best stories you hear are brought to life with descriptive sensory details. Okay, so for today, you're going to read through and answer questions that are on this sensory questionnaire PDF. All right. And as you answer them, just know you can write in bullet points, you can write single words, incomplete sentences. But use this worksheet, the sensory questionnaire, to kind of think about the sensory details because what you write here on this worksheet is what you're going to put in your essay. Like this is setting the table so you can eat later. Okay, so the sensory questionnaire, go ahead and open up that PDF. And I just want to emphasize on this, you can write in, single words, phrases, or incomplete sentences. So, really what you're doing is you're just going through these 10 questions, okay? Some of these you might skip, but if you have your topic in mind, you should be able to answer almost all of these, right? And I know, yes, I said that. You should be able to answer almost all of these. Again, this can be in incomplete sentences, but the more you do here, the less you have to do when you go to the writing board to actually write your essay, okay? So, the reason why we're starting with the sensory questionnaire is also because it's kind of like waking us up a little bit, right? It's getting us to actually think about what we're writing and think about like that moment in time when it occurred. Oftentimes when we write in our journal or we write a paper, we're sometimes we're just trying to complete it, boom, get it over with. But the sensory questionnaire, if you really want to do a good job with writing, you have to sit down, think about how can you best describe this event? How can you best describe whatever it is you're writing about? So that's what we're doing right now. Number one, how did the incident sound? Okay, was it, was it like a shattered glass? Did it sound like raindrops on a tin ceiling? Nails on a chalkboard? Did it sound like popcorn popping? Could you hear like teeth chattering? Like, how did that event or memory sound? And this is going to be hard, okay? Maybe the whole event didn't have a sound the whole time, but I'm sure like at some point in your memory or in your incident there was a sound. So if you're writing about a soccer game, right? Like I'm sure you don't have a sound to describe the entire soccer game, but maybe you can describe the sound of the crowd. Maybe you can describe the sound of the wind that day. It was super windy. or the sound of when you tore your ACL on the field, the sound of when you hit the ball, you kicked the ball into the net, and you can hear the net, just the swish. What incidents or what parts of that incident has sound, and how can you bring that out? Okay, so rather than looking at, oh, I'm writing about this memory I had when I lost my first tooth. I don't know what that sounded like. Well, focus in on one specific part of that. Okay? Focus in on, oh, like when you pulled your tooth, you could hear like the click of the nerve ripping and the tooth coming out, or you could hear the gasp when you smiled and your mom saw your tooth was gone. Like, you got to pick something that you can hear. There should at least be one sound from your memory. So, likewise, with all of these, again, maybe it's just a part of it. Maybe it's not the whole thing, but you're describing at least one part. Okay, how did it look? Was a look in the was a look in the guy's eyes? Was he vivid? Was he energetic? Was the other team aggressive? Were they competitive? Was the time on the clock dwindling? Were the plums in the basket dwindling? Like, you've got to bring it to life somehow. Was it like if you're talking about a time when you pulled your first tooth, well, what did the tooth look like? Like, describe the tooth, describe the blood. How did it feel like instantly? Was it heartbreaking, exaggerated? What did it feel like emotionally? Okay, physically, was it shredding? Was it ripping? Like, I don't know. You got to bring these things to life. All right. The last couple here, though, number 8, 9, and 10 are going to help you with looking at that underlying theme or lesson. Okay, so go through these. Maybe you don't have an answer for every single one of these. Like, I know sometimes 5, 6, and 7 just really depend on the incident itself. But typically 1 through 3, and then 8, 9, and 10, those are pretty straightforward. You should have at least one element of that in your writing. Okay, so that's a sensory questionnaire. Fill this out. Do this. This is important. It's going to help you so much. Okay, you do not need to turn it in, but please do it. So the other thing then, that's our sensory questionnaire. The other element we have is the show, not tell exercise. Okay, the show, not tell exercise. So I'm going to go through a worksheet here with you that explains show, not tell. Okay, it's also sometimes says show, don't tell, show, don't tell, show, not tell, same thing. Basically, though, this is the one new thing I'm kind of going through with you. If you have questions or this doesn't make sense, please email me, okay? But yeah, as mentioned above, we're working again on sensory details, okay? It's critical in showing our reader our memory. It's critical in showing our reader this event, this experience, rather than just telling them about it, okay? For that reason, we're going to practice upgrading some sentences. So go ahead and click on this worksheet. You can download it into Notability, just like the other one. So show, don't tell is a writing technique in which the story and characters are described through sensory details and actions rather than just straightforward statements. When you tell instead of show, you simply inform your reader of information rather than actually allowing them to deduce anything for themselves. So we want to show. Your task, your goal is to show, not just tell, right? How was your day? Good. How was your day? Well, really good. That's just telling. How was your day? Well, just now in the elevator, this lady told me that she loved my lip gloss and that my outfit was really cute. So I feel really good about myself. I don't know, today's been a happy day, right? Like, showing is just giving so much more there. So what we're going to do, I've got 2 examples here of 2 really boring telling sentences, okay? You're going to see the telling sentence is boring, it's straightforward, and it's just saying something really explicitly, okay? The showing sentence takes the same thing. It takes the same meaning and the same concept, and it shows the reader that message rather than just telling them it. So this first one, example, being tired. Here's the telling sentence. I almost fell asleep in the theater. I was so exhausted. Okay, very straightforward. This reader is telling you, in the theater, I was so tired I almost fell asleep, right? Like I was tired, I almost fell asleep in the theater. Here's a showing example. As the lighting in the theater dimmed to darkness, I felt my eyelids weighted. Soon enough, my head was nodding forward without much resistance. I could have fallen asleep at any moment. This is a much better way of showing your audience that you were tired, okay? You're not just telling them, "Oh, I was exhausted." You're not explicitly telling them this. You don't have to. You don't have to explicitly say something and spell it out for them. Instead, you can show them and they can figure it out for themselves, okay? You can read this sentence, you can tell, "Oh man, the writer is really tired. They're exhausted just from reading that." Okay? You're bringing it to life though. Number 2, ruining grandma's lawnmower. So, telling, my friend was so mad at me for wrecking his grandmother's lawnmower. Yep, your friend was mad at you. You wrecked the lawnmower. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Showing, though. Rage filled Jared's eyes as his face turned bright red. I knew he was livid at me for smashing the Toro into the back of Arlene's tool shed. So, you don't have to tell me your friend was mad because you can describe him, and I know he's mad. Okay? Additionally, you don't have to just say, "Yeah, I wrecked my grandma's lawnmower." No, instead you're saying, "I smashed this Toro in the back of a shed." Right? That's a lot more description. So what I want you to do and what I want you to turn in today, take these really boring, basic telling sentences and describe them. Liven them up, okay? So instead of saying they live in a beautiful house by the park, describe that beautiful house. Describe that park, okay? The 5-story, elegantly painted white mansion had pillars gracing the entrance. This house was located right across from McGreevy Gardens, an enchanting place where people often propose to each other. Right? Like you're getting a whole different picture from that showing. Okay, so for today's homework, please complete these 3 sentences and drop them to the Dropbox. Thank you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. See you Thursday.